This is the brand new Mizuno 40th anniversary pack celebrating 40 years of Mizuno Morelia, which of course inspired so many of the greatest football boots of all time. My name is Noah Kavanaugh. Welcome to the world's greatest football store. Let's jump into this beautiful new Mizuno pack. So in 1985, Mizuno came out with the original Morelia series. There were a couple different variations that were sold in Japan and other places around the world. You saw players like the Brazilian national team and of course Rivaldo wearing lots of Mizuno Morelia and Morelia derivatives. Of course, later down the line, the Morelia became inspiration for the Wave Cup, the Morelia II, which is the current generation, the Morelia Neo 4 series, and of course the Neo 4 Beta series, all of which followed the DNA of the original Morelia. And to this day, the Morelia II remains one of the only more classic upscale leather football boots on the market. As a lot of brands are going away from K-leather, Mizuno stands true to its heritage and comfort and performance of K-leather with the Morelia II, and of course the K-leather in their made in Japan models as well, this being the non-beta edition of the Morelia Neo, and then of course the Neo 4 Beta. This is the elite model, but the made in Japan model that we also have in store. The Morelia series has also brought about a ton of really cool football boots over the last 40 years. You've had different iterations of the Neo series, different iterations and variations of the Morelia series with fold-over tongues, non-fold-over tongues, DNA models, and of course the iconic Wave Cup legend. But more than that, they've been able to use this as a confident base to expand into other types of materials. Of course, with the Beta series, you still have that great leather forefoot, but now you have a knit based synthetic material on the midfoot for some supreme lockdown and performance. And then of course now with the Alpha series, both the made in Japan and the elite models that give you this incredible fit with a synthetic upper. None of this would be possible without the history and the heritage of the Morelia series, because this gives Mizuno its character, identity, and brand recognition. And now of course with these synthetic models brings us into the 2020s. Now the 6 boots in front of me might look very, very similar, but they're actually split into the elite models here on my right side and the made in Japan models here. Here at Ultra Football, we have all of the different versions, both in the elite and the made in Japan, but I wanted to go over a few special ones in this pack. So of course, the updated Morelia II. Now this is one of the most premium boots on the market, a full K-leather upper, beautiful suede heel liner now, which is an update from sort of the other Morelia II colorways that we've had in the past, a beautiful padded tongue, and then a more classic conical stud pattern that gives you a very nice balanced feel on feet while being suitable for pretty much every FG surface. Despite its more classic look and feel on feet, it's remarkably lightweight, sitting right around that 200 gram, 195 gram mark, depending on the size that you get, which is absolutely amazing for a boot that competes with other full K-leather boots on the market that are often a lot heavier than this. Then the most direct inspiration from the Morelia II is the Morelia Neo Standard Edition with the standard U-throat tongue. Now I've got the elite here in my right hand, the made in Japan here in my left hand, and the made in Japan continues on with a K-leather forefoot, identical to that of the Morelia II with some little interesting stitch pattern differences. And then you have a synthetic leather midfoot to give you a little bit more aggressive lockdown, a very nice standard U-throat tongue with a deep lacing system, of course the runner's knot, which is extra. And then you have the suede heel liner that's got a little bit of padding and contouring. Plus we have the engineered Fit Last Neo Fit and Lasting on this Neo sole plate, which is absolutely exceptional. It's one of my personal favorite sole plates on the market because of how aggressive it is, but also gentle with this conical stud pattern. Tons of snapback, and it's a wonderful football boot to wear. The elite model follows the exact same DNA as the made in Japan model. It's just got K-leather here in the forefoot, the same synthetic midfoot, and of course all the same features. It's just not made in Japan. Then we move on to the slightly more updated version, which is the elite model of the Neo 4 Beta. So it takes all the DNA from these two and puts it in an even more more aggressive package. Continuing on with that beautiful leather forefoot, you've got a mesh-based synthetic midfoot with the knit tongue area and the same heel liner and sole plate you get from these two models. Now this of course is the Elite model. We also have the Made in Japan as well, which give you all the best options of a synthetic speed boot with the touch and class of a leather forefoot. Then to Mizuno's newest offering, the Alpha, which of course is about 2 years old now between the first and the second generations. The Alpha has a 5-layer synthetic upper with a total coating of zero glide on the inside, meaning that once you get your foot in here and the boot molds and contours to the shape of your foot, your feet are not going anywhere regardless of whether you are wearing grip socks or not. It is an absolutely remarkable experience on feet, a very nice and contoured heel as well. External heel counter with the Carvo in the midsole, which is essentially a carbon plate-like material here in the forefoot area for extra snapback, and Mizuno's more aggressive speed traction for the Alpha series. You get essentially the same product with the Elite model with slightly less quality, and it's obviously not built in Japan. A bit of context as well about the Elite models is I would put the Elite models on par with other Elite models from other brands. So in the same price point, but actually a little bit less money, you can get easily the best quality on the market. The Made in Japan stuff, in my opinion, is probably a tier above pretty much everything else you can buy. It is absolutely incredible. It's obviously made in Japan, handcrafted in Japan, and regardless of what you decide to pick, depending on your preference of boot and price point, you really can't go wrong with an Elite or a Made in Japan model. All right, so that's a breakdown of the 40th anniversary. Let's jump out on pitch with a couple mates of mine who are absolute ballers and show you guys what the Made in Japan boots are all about.
So there's very few genuine leather boots on the market, and Mizuno called and I had to answer. Most boots are using synthetic materials, and Mizuno is just staying true. Mizuno is ready to wear immediately. I feel like after playing around in these for, 15 minutes, I feel comfortable training in them later for about 2.5 hours, honestly. So I think that that is a standout. Even with other brands that are genuine leather, I haven't had this good of an experience with a boot, so that's why I went with Mizuno. I think it is the perfect 40th anniversary color. Red is a standout, and I think Mizuno stands out by itself, but for the 40th, red's perfect.
I think the manufacturing in the Mizuno is what kind of sets them apart. The detail that goes into each boot in the process is just what makes it worth it in my eyes. The Alpha, the lockdown for me is like what really sets it apart. The zero glide system on the inside of the foot is insane. Feels really nice on feet, and that's kind of one thing I like in a speed boot. Sole plate's really aggressive, good snapback, good, what's the word you call it? Okay, yeah, well, real good snapback, real reactive. The color's gorgeous. Kind of clashes with the orange a little bit, but honestly, I think the deep red really gives it that premium feel, and that's a premium boot, premium feel. I love it. Normal speed boots that I've tried kind of have the synthetics quite stiff and rigid, but trying these on today, they've been quite soft straight out the box, and it's something you want when you're kind of putting a boot on for the first time. You don't have to wear it, and you just want to play in it straight away. So I just think the color talks to me as a person. It's a gorgeous looking boot, and I don't know, it kind of draws you in. Other than the whole manufacturing side of things, it's a big selling point to me. Bit of pop, bit of style. Yeah, love it. Feel like when I feel sharp and snappy on the pitch, everything else starts to kind of flow that way. So if I feel like quick, I feel light, I kind of start to feel a little bit more locked in, a little bit in zone, if that makes sense. I don't know how to word it, yeah.
The Neo 4 Made in Japan is one of my favorite boots ever created. It's got this amazing standard U-throat tongue, awesome leather in the forefoot, and of course this absolutely beautiful 40th anniversary red colorway. It is the perfect model, in my opinion, for players looking for that really nice, good snapback and neutral sole plate, as well as a super soft upper. So absolutely fantastic from the Mizuno brand, along with the Alpha and the Morelia II, and all the Elite models that we have here in store. All right, guys, that wraps up today's video of the 40th anniversary red colorway for the Morelia II and the rest of the lineup. In my opinion, these look amazing. Ruby Red is one of the most rich and beautiful colorways on feet, particularly if you're wearing a more neutral color for your kit. I absolutely love the Neo 4 regular edition. I think this is probably my favorite boot in the entire lineup if I'm not in a more classic heritage style vibe for the day. But overall, you really can't go wrong with any of these boots. I strongly recommend going true to size for most people, especially if you have a little bit of a wider fit. Then with the Alpha and the Neo series, I would maybe go half a size down if you are somebody with a little bit more narrow feet. Some people find that there's a little bit of extra space here on the end for these boots, particularly those with leather in the forefoot. Morelia II fits perfectly true to size, but the rest of them, if you have narrow feet, go half a size down. But I'm curious, what do you guys think of this new colorway? In my opinion, these look absolutely sensational. It is one of the coolest colorway packs of the year for sure, particularly celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Morelia. Which one are you going to be picking up in store or online at Ultra Football? Hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel here at Ultra Football, head over to Instagram where we post all of the latest and greatest updates of football boot content and of course football gear that we have here in store, including all the new kits from the biggest teams. My name is Noah Kavanaugh and I'll see you guys next time at the world's greatest football store.